Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So by the title of this video, you know exactly what we're doing today, my makeup collection. So I thought I would be able to kind of squeeze all of my makeup into one video, but I ended up breaking it up into three. So this is part one, where I'm basically going to be talking about this second row here, which doesn't actually have that much makeup, and then this huge acrylic organizer that I have from Original Beauty Box. And then in the second video, I'll be talking about this section here. And then the third video is going to focus on these two huge white drawers. So if you are interested in seeing part one of my collection, then just keep on watching. So I thought I would start on the left-hand side of that shelf that's a little bit higher up behind me in my background. And I have my container of lip liners here. And I used a bunch of the Pat McGrath sequins that came in one of the kits. I don't remember which one, the lip one. I think maybe it was 4 or 5. Anyway, so I thought it was appropriate for my lip pencils. So I've got a bunch of my Charlotte Tilbury ones in here. I have the Victoria Beckham Estee Lauder one. I have some Wet n Wild, ColourPop, Lipstick Queen, a MAC, some Bite Beauty. Oh, my favorite Kevin Aucoin Flesh Tone lip pencils. I love those. What else do I have? Oh, I have a Burberry one. Oh, I kind of forgot about that one. I have a Burberry one. Oh, I have my two Surratt ones that I love. Marc Jacobs. This one's actually probably dried out. So those are my lip liners. Right behind there, I have just a canister full of other Pat McGrath sequins that I kind of don't know what to do with, but I love them, so I'm going to keep them. I have the Tom Ford Nordstrom Anniversary Sale kind of exclusive set here. I have the latest Tom Ford Lips and Boys that I picked up in the color Connor. I haven't hauled this yet, so I haven't used it, so it's just sort of sitting here. And then I have two things from, I think, probably my favorite MAC collab. It was the Charlotte Olympia one from 2 years ago, maybe. This is the mirror that came with that set, and then this is the liquid liner, and it has that spider web on it that I love. And I have my Kevin Aucoin Making Faces book there. So here's the shelf right underneath. Here's my lip liners. The shelf right underneath, and this is what you see basically behind me when I'm filming. I hope this angle isn't too weird, but I want you to be able to see on top into the drawers. So the first drawer is pretty flat, so I can't fit too much in here. So I just have my Natasha Denona palettes, the Sculpt and Glow, the Sunset palette, which we all love, and the Star palette. I don't know what I'm going to do when I pick up that Lila palette, because I will be picking up that Lila palette. But so far these fit nicely in here. And then in my next drawer, I just have some really random eye stuff. I have a lot of eyeliners here, pencils and liquid eyeliners. I have some eyebrow pencils over here, some eyebrow gels. You know, my holy grail Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel here, the Glossier ones that I love. This is from Inglot. This is one of the gel liners. I have a bunch back here as well. And this is actually the eye gloss from the Pat McGrath Dark Star kit that I love. Here is an Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Ash Brown. I think I've only used this once or twice. And then I have some of the Kevin Aucoin like loose glitter shimmers. These are really cool because they have like a rollerball top, which is really fun. And then here are my beloved Surratt Prismatique eyes. These are the ones with the cream on top, and then they swing open for the powder on the bottom. Love those. I think that's it. This next drawer is basically my bronzers, and I'll start over here. So I have the Wet n Wild Color Icon Ticket to Brazil. This one's pretty decent. It's a little bit, the tone is a little bit off for me, but it's okay. Occasionally I will whip this out and use it. I have an old Kiko Desert Dunes Baked Bronzer in Warm Melange. This was one of their limited editions, so I don't think they have this anymore, but it's really beautiful. This is a Gucci Indian Sand bronzer. I love this one too. This is a little bit dark, so when I'm feeling dramatic, I will use that one. Here is a Chanel. This was limited edition also. This was a Le Beige Healthy Glow Multicolor Duo number 1. And this is really pretty together. I just don't like the scent of these Chanel powders, but it is very pretty on the skin. Of course, the Chanel Bronze Universal. This is that cream bronzer that I think pretty much everyone has. And then here is the Makeup Forever Cream Contour Kit. I just leave this in here because of the contour. These two are pretty much the only ones I use. The highlight is pretty, and this for a blush is nice or as a corrector, but I just don't reach for this for those things. So I just leave it in here for the contour and the highlight. And then I have the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Blush that I just got at the Nordstrom anniversary sale. Here is my very well loved Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. I have a travel size Kevyn Aucoin contour and highlight powder set, which I really love. It's great for travel. Here is the Lila B bronzer, which just made an appearance in my favorites. I love this. Here is an Estee Edit bronzer in light medium. As we know, this is all discontinued. It's nice. It's very light though. It goes on very sheer. It's pretty. Here's the Marc Jacobs, the Coconut Tantastic Omega Bronzer, which was limited edition as well. I think this is gone at this point, but this is a really pretty bronzer. We have the Kevyn Aucoin bronzers. This is in Sienna, which is like a warm coral. I love this. And then there was a cooler tone one in Capri. So you can see this is like a little bit more pink. Love this. And then I have two really random contour kits in here. I have Tan to Deep and Medium to Tan from ABH. And I don't know, I just sort of like these colors and I thought maybe I could use them as eyeshadows. Obviously, I can't really use these as contour. They're a little bit way too dark for me. And over here, I have a ColourPop. This is actually, I believe, a blush, but it kind of works more as a bronzer for me. So it's in this drawer. I have some small ones here. This is a Kevyn Aucoin tester of their Desert Nights bronzer. This is a little Laguna bronzer that I think I got in case I want to travel with this. Here was, I think this was like a VIB Rouge gift, but this is the Marc Jacobs, the other bronzer that he has, the Tantric Omega bronzer. Here's the Tarte Park Avenue Princess, like deluxe sample. So this is the brand new NARS bronzer. I have it in Laguna. This is pretty tough to pick up with a brush, but I do like it once I get it on the brush. Here's an Hourglass bronzer, Luminous Bronze Light, really pretty. Here's a really lovely subtle bronzer from Laura Mercier. This is the Matte Radiance Baked Bronzer in 02. Love this. Two of the Bare Minerals Invisible Bronzers, which are fairly new. I have it in medium and tan. Is that right? This is medium. And this is tan. And these run really light. So yeah, so the medium and the tan work for my skin tone. Just keep that in mind if you're interested. And here is a Rouge Bunny Rouge bronzer, which I really love. This is a really pretty bronzer, which I need to use more. And this is probably my ultimate favorite bronzer. It's from Giorgio Armani. It's their Sun Fabric. Yeah, Sun Fabric Sheer Bronzer. I have it in shade 100. Comes with a little brush. It's just perfect. It's like perfectly neutral for my skin tone. And then I have the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, which does smell great, but it's a little bit too strong for me. All right, so here's my highlighter drawer, which I think is too heavy. I think it's just gonna keep falling out. So what I'm gonna do is take this drawer out and put it on a table and kind of go through it that way. So all right, so here's my highlighter drawer. I guess I'll just start over here. I have the Dior, what is this? The Dior Skin Nude Air in 001. This is very pretty. We have the Orbay, I think they call this like more like a face palette, but I just sort of swirl my brush in the lighter two. I like these two as a highlight. Let's see, here's MAC Soft and Gentle. Here is MAC's, this is Sparkling Rose Iridescent like face powder. This was part of the limited edition collection a couple years ago. I can't remember which one. It had like fireflies. Anyway, here is the MAC Faintly Fabulous Mineralized Skin Finish in Natural. I don't use this very often, but it's pretty cool. I have, oh, this is the other Earthly Mineralized Skin Finish, which was part of that really funky, kind of out of this world collection. I just really love the design of that. Here's a Rouge Bunny Rouge highlight. Here is a Bobbi Brown highlighting powder in Pink Glow. I do not like this at all. It is like super chunky, and yeah, not a fan of this one. Here's an Essence Pure Nude highlighter in 01 Be My Highlight. I think you guys have probably heard a lot about this one. I have some ColourPop highlighters. This is in Spoon. This is in Dreamcatcher, Wisp, Smoke and Whistles, Butterfly Beach, and Lunch Money. And then here are my Wet n Wild highlighters. These are so awesome. This is the To Reflect Shimmer Palette. This is in Boozy Brunch. It has that awesome sort of like leopard print on there, but it's just such a great highlighter. Here is Precious Petals, Crown of My Canopy. And then here is the Physicians Formula one that kind of looks like a book. I don't know what this is called. And here is the e.l.f. Illuminating Palette, which it's not my favorite, but it's decent. And then this is, oh, the Becca Afterglow palette. This came out a long time ago, but I really thought it was cool because it had a lot of the highlighters that I like Moonstone, Rose Gold, and Topaz, and then it has 2 blushes. Here is the Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold highlighter, which I love for many reasons. The Chanel, I just talked about this, I believe, in my favorites. This is the Plissé Lumiere limited edition highlighter. Love this. And here's the Chanel Camellia de Chanel highlighter. I love the way this looks in the pan, but it's actually a little bit too glittery for me. So I'm not the biggest fan of this particular highlighter. The 2 Dose of Colors highlighters. Here is Mirame, here is Fuego. And then I have a bunch of the Milani Strobe Light Instant Glow powders. So here's number 4, number 3, number 2, and number 1. Obviously 1 and 2 work the best on me, but these are really pretty too. And then I have the Viseart Highlight and Sculpt palette, which I love and don't use enough of, but these 2 I love. These 2 highlighters I love. And then over here I have the NARS Banque de Sable Trio highlighter. Gorgeous, absolutely love these 2. Here is the NARS duo of Hot Sand and Laguna. I love Hot Sand. And in fact, I think I have Hot Sand by itself somewhere, which we'll probably come across. Here is the Hourglass The Cream face palette, the highlight, blush, and bronzer. I think it's like the Illume, yeah, Illume Sheer Color Trio in Sunset. Really love this palette if you like cream products, it's wonderful. Here is the Neo highlight from Kevyn Aucoin in Ibiza, or excuse me, Ibiza. And here it is in Sahara, which I love, absolutely love. And before I forget, here's the Kevyn Aucoin Guardian Angel Cream Highlighter. And we have the Tarte, this is like the Twinkle, Skin Twinkle lighting palette. This is the old one, the original one, before they came out with the 4-pan. This one's okay. These 2 are nice. This center one is not good. Not good at all. But this is decent. And then I have the Clé de Peau Luminizing Face Enhancer number 16. This is really, really pretty. It's a very subtle highlight. It's gorgeous. I was a little terrified when I first got it because there's an overspray of glitter, and when I put it on, I was like, oh my god. But once you get rid of that overspray, it's really lovely. Here's that Laura Mercier Baked powder in number 1, which I love. I think this was the first highlighter I ever got, actually. Oh, and here's that NARS Hot Sand. Here's the YSL Highlighting Finishing Powder. I love this. It's very, very subtle. It's not even really, excuse me, it's not even really like a highlighter. It's more of like what it says, like it's a finishing powder. Sorry, I just realized that like the fan reflection in this has got to be so super annoying. So I just turned off my fan. It should slow down soon. So anyway, so this is a great finishing powder versus a highlighter, but if you want a really subtle highlight, this one is great. Here is the Estee Edit highlighter, the Estee Bronze Goddess highlighter. Heatwave is what it's called, part of the Bronze Goddess line. Love this one. It's such a like unique, beautiful, yeah, beautiful highlighter. Here is Becca in Opal. This is like a deluxe sample size. I have two from the Pat McGrath kit, the highlighter kit. So here are the Becca Light Chaser highlighters. And then I have, of course, I have Champagne Pop, which is one of my favorite highlights. And yeah, I think also one of the first highlighters I ever bought. This one in the Laura Mercier. Here's an Hourglass Ambient Strobe Lighting Powder in Incandescent. So it has like a pink sheen. And this one is Brilliant, which has more of like a neutrally yellow sheen. Here is a travel size of the Ambient Lighting Powder in Dim Light, which is really pretty. Luminous Light, which is my favorite. Diffuse Light, another favorite. I'm going to say that for all of these. Diffuse Light. Radiant Light. Has a pinkier tone to it. And then here's Ethereal Light, which is like the lightest one. And then we have, oh, my Ophir highlighters. So here is Blissful, here is Rodeo Drive, and here is Beverly Hills. Love these. If you want a really strong highlight, this is the way to go. So that's my highlighter drawer. Let me put this all back, and then we can move on to the bottom drawer in that acrylic organizer. All right, so here is the bottom drawer of that acrylic organizer, which has a lot of my eyeshadow palettes. There's some face palettes in here too, but mostly eyeshadow palettes. And they're just sort of thrown in here, as you can see, wherever they fit. So I'll start over here. Here is the Hourglass face palette from, I believe, last holiday season. I'm completely losing track of time. Maybe last holiday season. I really like this. I think it got mixed reviews. People found this maybe a little bit too glittery, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty. Here is a Smashbox cover shot. I have the matte one, which I really love, especially for travel. This is that Makeup Forever face artist palette that I just made at the makeup show. Really enjoy it. Here is a Wet n Wild Comfort Zone eyeshadow palette. I think this is another one that everyone has talked about. It's really lovely. I have all three of the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a palette. My favorite is the newest one, which is Beauty Glow. This one here. And here is the Makeup Forever Artist Shadow. This is like the neutral one, which I really love. I love Makeup Forever eyeshadow palettes. Or eyeshadows. Here's an Urban Decay little palette that I think was a gift, maybe from Ulta or something. Here's the Fiona Styles face palette, which I really, really loved. I was so sad. I think I had just bought this and then all of a sudden her thing started disappearing because she's having distribution problems. Anyway, I was sad to hear that because I love this so much. Here's a Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palette. This was supposed to be like the Sweet Peach, the Too Faced Sweet Peach dupe. Honestly, I don't use this that much. It's not the best. It's okay, but it's not great. Here's the Anastasia Master Palette by Mario. I love this palette. I really wish they would bring this back permanently. It's just gorgeous. The Kat Von D Shade and Light eyeshadow palette. Here's a new Marc Jacobs Eyeconic Palette in Scandalust that I have to play with more, but I'm really loving it so far. The quality seems to be excellent. Oops. Anastasia Modern Renaissance. I keep it in the box because of that velvet packaging gets so dirty. So anyway, I won't open it up. You all know what it looks like. Urban Decay, the Basquiat collaboration. I also have it in the box, so I won't bore you by opening it up. Urban Decay Naked Heat. Here's the Naked Smoky, which I really love. I don't know why this is like the hated naked palette, but I just think it's really lovely. I think the range is great. I love these cool tones. I mean, I know cool tones probably aren't in favor at the moment, but I think this is a really lovely palette. And this is one of the first larger palettes I ever bought. So I really like it. I think it's on sale now too. I'd recommend it. I would grab it at that price. Here's the Lorac palette from the Nordstrom anniversary sale last year, and I have not used this as much as I would like because it's actually pretty good. Here is the Kevin Aucoin. This is the Legacy palette, and it has his highlighter, bronzer or sculpting powder, and then all these eyeshadows. I love this palette. I think it's awesome. It was like one of my 2016 favorites. I just think it's such a beautiful palette and the quality is excellent. So Kevin Aucoin Legacy palette. I have a couple Hourglass palettes. Again, I feel like these got a lot of hate. They're not the best eyeshadows, but they're far from the worst. So I don't know. I don't know why people hated these so much. But this is the Exposure one, which is like kind of plummy, which is very pretty. And then I have this one, which is Graphite, which is very, very pretty. Love this one. And then here's that Becca Jaclyn Hill. So much drama. I did send mine back because mine was actually pretty good. I liked it a lot, so I kept mine. And the Viseart Petite Pro palette, which has seen a lot of love for me. This is another one I like to pack when I travel. It's just great. Here is the Theory palette in Cashmere, another goodie. And then here's the Girls eyeshadow palette from the Dose of Colors Desi and Katie collab. So this is the Tartelette in Bloom palette. Love, such a good like workhorse palette. Just I think just works for almost every occasion. Here's the Tarte. Is this the Rainforest of the Sea palette. I like this one. I just never reach for it, but it's nice. And then I have two of the Stila Eyes Are the Window shadow palettes. This one I love. This is in Soul. This is the one that I used as like a dupe for the Chanel, the Beige Healthy Glow palette, something like that. And then this is the Spirit palette. And then I got this Perfect Me, Perfect Hue shadow palette in light, fair light. It's too light for me. Like these cheek colors are way too light, but I love it for this eyeshadow. Yeah, these three eyeshadows. This one's even a little bit too light, but it's pretty. Oh, this little palette I really love. This was a Lancome Holiday limited edition palette, and Lisa Eldridge designed this after one of her vintage compacts. And it just has that feel. It has that sort of like 1920s flapper feel, and the eyeshadows are really beautiful inside. I love this one. Here's the Chantecaille La Chrome Luxe Eye Duo in Grand Canal. These are really, really glittery. Here's the Narcissist Loaded eyeshadow palette, which I love. You can see, oh, it's a mess. You can see that I love it quite a bit. Here is the ColourPop Yes Please palette. The Narcissist L'amour toujours l'amour palette, which I like. I think some people, again, this got really mixed reviews. I liked it. It worked for me. Here's the Sarah Moon collab, which is really cool. I like that they're all the dual intensity shadows, and it's just a really fun mixture. Like this being so bright, yeah, I just feel like it really reflects her photography really well. Here is the Laura Mercier Candle Glow Luminizing palette, which I don't use enough. These I think are actually really pretty, and for eyeshadows this obviously is very light and this palette can't work by itself, but I think this is a really cool kind of like, I don't know, like highlighter for your eyes. So I should whip this back out. Here's the Pure Transformation eyeshadow palette, and also it has some cream products down at the bottom. I think it's really pretty. I just never reach for it, but I think it's pretty good. And then here are all my Viseart palettes. Here's the Neutral Matte, the Sultry Muse, the Cool Matte, the Warm Matte, the Paris Nude, and the Bijou Royale. So those were all of the palettes that were in this drawer. So let me put these all back and then we'll move on to the rest of my stuff.